What's good, y'all? It's your boy AJ. You're now tuned in the Nets Kingdom. I'm with Syph. I'm with Chubbs. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. So we're back. I wanted to make this video about the trade deadline and then also the addition of Dennis Schroder. Tonight, the Nets just got destroyed by the Celtics. What was a record-breaking loss? 136-86. I just want to we'll briefly talk about that. These two back-to-back games against Boston. Basically, how do you guys see the team in these two games? I mean, we know Boston's basically the best team in the league, and I guess Nets fans were coming off a hype. Yeah, we just destroyed the Spurs. We were good. Dennis' debut was great. Then we get to the Boston games, and we're back to reality. The honeymoon was over. But what was y'all take on these two Boston games?
I like to correct you. Usually honeymoons last more than one game. Or honeymoons last more than one day. Yeah. That was just a quick visit. That wasn't even a honeymoon.
That wasn't even a honeymoon.
What do you do when you have connecting flights? A layover? That's what that was.
Layover. Yeah, it was a layover, basically.
Layover. Yeah, you get something to eat, you take in the view, and then you just go back to reality. But yeah, for those two games, I mean, it's nothing really to talk about. We got destroyed.
Yeah.
in games like that, there's not much you can talk about, except maybe probably look at the coaching, the players' effort, and just overall system, schemes, and all that. But I mean, it's blatant. This team just looks dead and it looks disinterested, and they're just waiting for the All-Star break. They're waiting to go to Indy, chill out, and just reset and come back, and hopefully try to put something together.
Let me ask y'all this: what is the difference? I mean, I know obviously the teams, but why did the Nets versus the Spurs? Is it just because of change of personnel? We're playing Jason Tatum. I mean, even tonight they didn't have Jaylen Brown. They didn't have a couple of guys, and we lost by even more than we did last night. So it's like, is it more of a coaching thing, a player thing? Are we just not a good team? Like, why against the Spurs? I'm watching Ben Simmons hit a jumper. DSJ 15-10, you know. But against the Celtics, it was just like we didn't. I don't know if it was an effort thing or was it just not a good basketball team.
I'll throw this analogy off at you, and then I'll let Cypher go. It's like we all know that one cat. Everybody knows that one guy in the neighborhood. That if he sees an easy target, he'll move completely different versus a person that he knows can beat him up.
Yeah.
Like we've all seen a person that picks on the little guy, does stuff that he normally doesn't do, but because he knows he can beat that person up, he's gonna do extra. He's gonna do the most. The Spurs was that little guy, and the Celtics was that big bad that pretty much exists on every corner when someone thinks they're big and bad. Pretty simple.
That makes sense. I'm sorry, my Knicks. All my Knicks friends are literally blowing up my group. They are coming at me hard body right now, bro. They're just like, you guys lost by 50 points. Like, I'm getting so many text messages right now.
50 is crazy. 50 is crazy. Especially in today's NBA, 50 is crazy.
Oh my God. So if you guys hear my phone going off, that's just my friends basically laughing at my poverty franchise. But go ahead, Syph on it.
I mean, it's probably a combination of all the things you just said. It just we're coached terrible. First of all, this team, I never bought into the argument that this team had no talent or very little talent, but the Celtics are that much better than us.
Yeah.
I mean, even then though, we're out-coached, and they were missing two starters.
That's what I'm saying. How did missing two starters, but it was a closer game last night than it was today. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
I think
the Celtics are they 50 points better than us? Like, is that I feel like that's just like
I think they're 20 points better than us.
Yeah.
But not 50.
Yeah. 50 is insane to me. Like, that's just like
that you could say it's an outlier, but they're definitely the better team. But it comes to from foundation to everything else, they're just moved as a better franchise and a better team than we are. And that just kind of comes down to it. We lose our 2 starters, it's going to look like chaos. They lose their 2 starters, they beat us by 50.
Yeah.
It's a clear showing of a gap of what it takes to be an elite team versus what it looks like to be a pretending team. There's a big fucking gap.
And I think it all starts with the owner. Look, owner, I don't know why, but in the NBA, like owners kind of fly under the radar when a team is just this bad, with the exception of like the fan base. Like the fan base will call it out, but the media and other teams like won't. Like when you have an owner like Joe Tsai and he's just content with letting Sean Marks do whatever he wants, it just spills down because then Sean Marks hires all these bad coaches. And then when you have a coach like Vaughn, and then just his inability to do anything right. You know, like early in the game, we were running the offense through Mikal Bridges and letting him isolate early on, ignoring Cam Thomas. And we weren't moving the ball. We were just feeding Mikal.
And that's never been Mikal's game.
Like, no, he's always been an off-ball player.
Yeah.
Off ball, take 1 or 2 dribbles, get to his spot. He's done that last year. That's why his numbers look that great. And I don't understand why we're forcing him to do that. Like, obviously, on paper, he should be the best player on the team or one of the best. But you should have adjusted by now that he just can't have the ball in his hands at this moment. Or he's not the guy to kind of be the ball handler and try to score off the handle or off the dribble. It should always be someone setting him up or getting him to the point where he can set up his spots with minimal effort.
And not only that, you're going to have Cam Thomas, who's best at on ball, just have him spot up for most of the game. And it's like, you know, you could criticize that he needs to get better at that, but that's just not his game now. And just have him not mix in on-ball duties and just have the ball glued to Schroder or DSJ. Just you're setting him up to fail. You're not developing him or his game either. And then you end up going down that many points. And when you're going against a psycho like Joe Mazzulla, it just like he's going to kick you while you're down. Like last game, what he did in the second quarter, just hacking Claxton and Ben Simmons and just constantly hunting, you know, Cam Thomas. Like that's the difference between like Mazzulla and Vaughn. And I don't think Mazzulla is like a good coach either. I think
what's crazy is he's a second-year coach. It's not like he's an experienced, you know. He's a brand new coach. I mean, he's been an assistant coach, but a head coach. He hasn't been a head coach like for what 2 years now? Was it a 2 year or 2?
You need that cutthroat mentality as a head coach. Like I hate watching what he did, but like if that was my team, like I would be like
he did the right thing. He did. That's what you're supposed to do as a coach. Exploit the other team's weaknesses. He exploited Cam's defense on the perimeter. He exploited Claxton and Ben. You're playing Claxton and Ben together. Okay, I'm gonna do hack a Ben. I'm gonna do hack a Clax.
And people need to realize sometimes coaches use tactics on certain teams in order to beat other teams down the line when it's important. I wouldn't be surprised they experimented with the hack a Ben and hack a Clax, and they're gonna use that shit on Giannis if they meet him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do the extreme shit because you know down the line you're gonna run into a situation where that has to happen.
Yeah.
So if down the line, I pray for any team that runs into when they run a hack a whoever because it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly.
I know Nets fans are on Twitter. We're like, "Oh, Mazzulla's a loser. He's doing it in the first half," but it's like it's your opponent. You're supposed to do anything it takes to win. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I do hack a bad in the first quarter. I'm setting the tone. I'm getting my easy points. I'm getting easy misses. I'm getting more possessions. The game is to win, get more possessions, shoot more shots, hit more buckets than the other team. And Mazzulla, if you did that in the first half, that's just gonna have to live with it. You have to adjust as a coach on the other side because that's just how, you know what I'm saying? He exploited us. You're supposed to do that. You know? But I'm gonna quickly transition because I don't want to talk about. Oh my God, we were the second largest in NBA history. Oh my God, I just seen like on Yes Channel. I said like we're the second losing margin in NBA history.
It was the second largest for this team.
Oh, was it for this team or in NBA history?
I think the team because I know we lost by 52 against the Rockets in like the 70s.
Okay, I hope it's not in NBA history. That would be.
No,
if it's like the biggest losses in NBA history, like 60, the Hawks in 19 something, but then it's us, that would be bad. That would be bad, bro. But yeah, quickly transition to the trade deadline. I mean, just wanted your guys' quick reaction. We saw Sean Marks, I guess, do the bare minimum. He sent Royce. We actually helped Phoenix again by sending them Royce. And it was crazy because I was on the plane watching the Suns game, and I'm like, yo, Royce is actually helping this team on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's hitting
Hit a
threes.
clutch, hit a clutch 3 for them and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, Royce is actually helping this team. So we gave them Royce for 3 second round. Was it 3? 3 second rounds, right? 3 second round picks, and then we basically traded. We did a swap with Toronto for Spencer Dinwiddie, for Dennis Schroder, and then Spencer eventually got waived, and then the Lakers picked him up for like a vet min.
That's better than trading him last time to the Wizards.
Yeah,
at least you got something back.
At least we got something back for Spencer.
Like obviously, hindsight now, nobody on that Wizards team would have panned out well. But at least you got something back for him and not fucking exceptions. Like you got something, you know?
Yeah. And then we saw the Nets actually got back. We traded for Thaddeus Young, but we waived him. And then we traded for the Suns gave us Jordan Goodwin, the young point guard, waived him. I think the only person they kept was Bates Diop.
Out of everybody to keep Diop. The team that desperately needs a point guard. You waive the point guard, you get that.
We waived Thaddeus Young, we waived everybody else, and then we keep Bates Diop.
The reason they didn't waive Bates Diop is because they would have to eat his $2 million for next year.
Oh, okay. Oh, is he expiring?
No, he has a player option.
Oh, okay.
Jordan Goodwin had a team option, so he was expiring.
Oh, okay. So they can just get him off the books at Diop if anything. I mean, he's basically useless for us. But what would your guys' take were when you guys saw the trade deadline? Were you guys just not surprised, or did you think Sean Marks helped this team, or did he just, make these little moves and keep it pushing?
From the perspective of helping the team, getting off of Spencer's contract helps in efforts to try and retain Clax. That in itself is a big move. I mean, no matter who you traded it for, the priority when it came to trading Spence was to get a cheaper contract in return, so it make anything to hinder you from signing Clax not matter in the grand scheme of things. So in a sense, that is a positive. But on top of that, Dennis Schroder does have another year with us.
Yeah.
So I guess that just eases off. You have a guard, high energy, good defender. Can pretty much like Swiss Army knife style. It's good to have him there, but it's not going to be enough to what you're really looking for with a point guard. The one point guard you have, he's on borrowed time. You don't know when his back is going to act up again. You don't know whether little nicks or whatever. He literally returned and had to go back on the IR.
Yeah.
So it's a Band-Aid, but the ship is still sinking.
Yeah. I agree, because when I saw that we traded for Dennis, I was like, I mean, it's definitely an upgrade from Spencer. I mean, Dennis is going to bring you look in these highlights, Dennis is going to give you some assists. He can play make. I didn't know he was this good of a playmaker. He was doing his thing. Gritty defense. Just a lot more energy than Spence, because we know Spence didn't want to be here. He wanted to be traded. So now that we entered Dennis, it's like, okay, so we can see Dennis can play make. We know Mikal needs a point guard, and we need this team desperately needs a point guard. So when I saw him and Ben Simmons against the Spurs, I was encouraged. I was like, okay, maybe we could see a little something, from the Nets. Just a better offensive game plan, offensive team. Like our team, we needed somebody to run the offense and kind of facilitate. And like Chubb said, Ben Simmons is a borrowed kind of time. We don't know when Ben Simmons is going to play. He could play one game and then he could be out for 4 games, and he could play another game. So
it's getting to the point where you have to. It's not a matter of if, it's when with him when it comes to his history. And I hope I'm wrong with that, but that's what it's looking like. And especially with this draft, granted, it's not as potent with the depth that you had from last year, but you still could have had some form of a prospect point guard option. Just some, like you're not going to get Dillingham, who's going to go top 3 projected, but later on you might find something, might find a diamond in the rough.
So, I just find it hard to believe because there were so many teams that wanted Royce. So I just, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen other Pelinka flip I've seen GMs flip guys for first round picks that do not deserve first round picks.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking of all the list of teams that wanted Royce O'Neal, and then we give him to all the any team we could give Royce to. We give him to this. We help the Suns, and this we have the Suns picks, and we go help
My-
the Suns. You know
we
what I'm saying?
traded a first round for him.
We traded a
We
first round
traded
for
a
Royce,
first for him.
and we give him back to the Sun. We give him to the Suns for 3 second rounds, and the Suns have our picks. So you're basically helping the Suns and making our picks worse.
I mean,
I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Sorry, Saif. Go ahead.
just look, this year, like, it doesn't really matter because we don't own the Suns pick for this year.
Yeah.
Royce is 30. Like, he's declining. I don't expect him. Like, the Suns being good next year and onwards, like Royce O'Neal isn't going to be the difference maker.
No.
Like, I don't see. So I don't think it's going to really affect much in terms of our picks. The real problem is Sean Marks completely failed to evaluate the market. Like, last year, these players were worth something. Dinwiddie was worth something. DFS was worth 2 first. Mikal was worth 4. Royce was worth a first. But what happened was, and this is his failure as a general manager, is he waits too long, and he waits until we kill every ounce of value for any of our players, and then we trade him for pennies on the dollar. And look, this is why I want to trade why I wanted to trade Mikal Bridges, and why I think we should trade him in the offseason, because the longer we wait, losing kills the value of every player on this team.
Yeah.
The longer we wait, the worse it gets.
I'd agree with that.
I was gonna say, like, that's a good point that Saif made, because last year, if the Nets picked a direction as soon as they said, like, okay, we're giving up the stars, let's rebuild. If the Nets wanted to pick a direction, they could have, because Royce teams were offering a first round pick for Royce. Like, Royce was a first round last year. Mikal was 3 or 4 first rounds when the trade happened. DFS was 3 first rounds on the market. Like, teams really wanted these players as soon as the Nets got them. And that's when Sean could have hit the button on them. Okay, let me hit the rebuild button now, bag all these first round picks, and then let's see what I could do with Cam Thomas and Clax and what I have left, Jaylen Wilson, my guys. You know, that's where Sean could have, and that's what we're saying. He's waiting too long. He could have hit that rebuild button as soon as the trade happened, or last year, and then kind of. But I get it. I guess he wanted to stay in this mid-year. It's a repeat cycle with the Nets. You know what I'm saying? We look for stars, we stay mid, we give up our picks for stars, and we stay mid. We never build through the draft. This team doesn't really build through the draft, or we never get lottery picks, because we're always trading our picks for stars, and we stay mid for years and years and years, and then we do it again all over.
Even then, we're not even staying mid correctly. You can't even do that right. We're the 11th seed.
Yeah,
To be
we
mid,
can't take properly.
You're supposed to be from that 10 to 5 window. That's mid. That 10 to 5 window, that's mid, below average. We're not even doing that right.
The strategy for this team going into the season was be a 40-ish win team, which I thought we could. And then in the offseason, hope Donovan Mitchell wants to come here, Trae Young wants to come here, and then build on that. But the problem is we have a system, our head coach, everyone is worse off because of it. And look, I know this roster isn't perfect, but we just set players up to fail. And it just now, you don't have that much talent. You have a negative head coach. This team is not a Donovan Mitchell away from being a contender. We're not a Trae Young away from being a contender.
Yeah.
I've always said it. This system, I might not have said it on here, but I always come to that conclusion with the way the coaching plays this team. This team does nobody favors whoever goes off. Like, if one player is having 40, we're going to lose by probably 8. We do not favor anybody that has a breakout game, a 40-point performance, a 30-point performance. Look at every Cam Johnson. He had a couple 30-point performances. Cam Thomas, any of his big performances. We don't favor players that go off. Yeah. It's like it's either everybody chips in, or we don't feed the hot hand, or it's just we lose. Mikal Bridges drops 40. We lose to the embarrassing fashion to the Hawks. Cam Thomas drops 50, drops 40, drops 35. We lose. Like, this team favors nobody that goes off. Like, it's a backwards kind of mentality. I'm not saying to focus on one player, but when a hot hand is there,
Yeah.
You should coach accordingly. You shouldn't just keep the game plan the same no matter what.
And it sucks because it's like we're stuck in a cycle again where we can't even lose. We can't even tank because we don't have any picks. I mean, Sean, I guess if you're a Sean supporter out there watching this, okay, I guess what can you tell me in the comments that Sean did right at the deadline? Like, what do you see for this team in the future? Because it's like we're gonna be we can't even tank properly. You know what I'm saying? We're losing by 56 points to the Boston Celtics. We might not even make the play in. And now we have yes, we have all our assets, right? Yeah, we have all our picks. You know, we have tradable, we have our contracts, we have young guys, but it's like we're still stuck in purgatory because we have no picks, we have no direction, and we're star hunting. And like Cypher was saying, this star hunting might not even be worth it in the end. We're gonna trade our picks for a Donovan, and even Donovan might not be able to save us. Or
Because
do
you're
you
gonna
trust?
have to get more after D
Yeah.
Mitch. It doesn't. If it's Trey, you're gonna have to get more. If it's D Mitch, you're gonna have to get more. If it's a
Yeah.
guard, you're gonna have to build more. If it's a forward, maybe they can carry, maybe. But if it's a guard, it's not gonna be enough just for them because you're gonna suffer a loss trading for it. You're going to.
Yeah. It's
And even I don't even mind losing. It just we're directionless because we're not losing. If we lose games and we're developing players, it's worth it.
yeah.
Like if we start Cam Thomas and say, okay, Cam, we don't care about the result. Play make, pass the ball, get as many assists as you can. We want to see how far we can take you. You know, that is different from losing this way. Like if we lost by 50 and then Cam Thomas finished with like 10 assists because we're trying to develop him, that would be fine. And I want to say this, I'm not saying, oh, you just want your guy to get hit. No, I want to develop for the future. I want to see how far we could take this. And what we're doing right now is we're losing and we're not developing for the future. This isn't helping no one. Like nobody's getting developed. The players, the win now veterans, they're not winning.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting worse. And we're doing everything the worst way possible. And it's like, that's why I'd say Sean failed at the deadline. Like the goal of the deadline to me was pick a direction, and he didn't do that.
I agree.
Yeah, even then we're still as directionless as we were going into the deadline. I mean, yeah, you traded Spencer for Dennis, but that still doesn't. Like, are we gonna go younger? Are we gonna go? It's because it's not like Dennis is a young guy. He's one of the,
we got another. We basically added on an older player. He's getting what 17, 16 million for 2 years. So it's like you still. I mean, you got a little bit less than Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie was having 20 million expiring, so you added a little bit. You might have added more. Did he add more salary? All right, look at the salary, but I think he's about.
We overall, I think we took $5 million less back combining all the trades.
So we saved another $5 million. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Alrighty, there you go. That's what Josiah Sean wanted. We saved another $5 million by getting Dennis and waiving all these guys and keeping Diop, who's a $2 million player, and we're not going to play him at all. And it sucks because, like Cypher was saying, if we were losing, had our picks, and then I'm looking at the screen and I'm seeing Cam Thomas get his buckets, assisting. I'm seeing Jaylen Wilson going crazy. I'm seeing Clax getting better. That will make me feel good as a Nets fan. You know what I'm saying? If we were in that direction, you know what I'm saying? Now I'll maybe feel even if we were losing, and I'm seeing these guys putting work, getting better. You know,
I'm at the point. I'm all for a proper rebuild. You get Wilson, Thomas, Claxton, maybe a vet or two, and you just go fuck it. We'll just rebuild from there. But even then, I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Are we even going in the direction of Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
Because what if he just goes crazy and then the asking price is just astronomical?
And it's like I don't even know if he wants to leave the Cavs right now. They're on like a 18 game. What is it, like 18-1? They're going crazy right now.
They keep the streak they got right now, and they go deep into the playoffs. Does he want to come here? No. Unless he wants to try free agency.
If he succeeds with the Cavs, I don't see him leaving the Cavs for the Nets. Like if he goes to the finals or he makes it to the ECF, I don't know. I think it makes it harder for him to leave. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Nets Kingdom. All our Twitters are at the bottom, and then on IG Nets Kingdom 1. Yeah, it's just right before the All-Star break. It's just not a good feeling, man. Like, it's just, and on Valentine's Day, like, this breaks your heart as a Valentine's, and the Nets are so bad, losing by 56 on. They would lose by 56 on Valentine's, like.
Like the
It does break
Nets,
our heart.
Fucking Valentine's Day massacre, bro.
Valentine's Day massacre.
like the Nets, the way the Nets are acting, like we're acting like the Knicks did for all the last 20 years. Like we're just hoping a star saves us, and it doesn't work.
Man. It
just
really
doesn't
hurts.
work.
Let us know in the comments how you guys feel. Grade Sean Marks' deadline in the comments. Also, how you feel about Dennis Schroder joining the team, his impact going forward. And yeah, let us know how you guys feel about the Nets right now. I mean, it's tough to be a Nets fan right now. Like, you tell somebody you're a Nets fan outside, they just look at you and probably laugh for like 10 minutes because of how poverty we are, and it's tough, man. You got to stay strong, but it's like, it's really hard, man. It's really hard. All right, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back.